Do I have time to share? Oh, no. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Resets for Success team. I am Gabi Abdelgadir, and I have my friends here, Jody Santangelo, Whitney Wiley, and Cheryl Mays. I know, that's what I was waiting for. So thank you for tuning in. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending where you're tuning in from. So welcome to the group. And today we're going to talk about goal setting. So in previous videos, we talked about know your why, which is finding your purpose. Let's assume that you did find your purpose and know your why, and you have this desire to reach your goal. What do you do next? It's setting goals, right? So finding your purpose. So to get your desire, you need to set goals, smart goals, long-term and short-term goals. Sorry, I can't even talk today, what the heck? So creating specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and time-bound goals. And you actually need to write them down, because anything we don't write down, we don't accomplish. That is from experience, and we've learned this from the top leaders. We always have to write down our goals. And that is that. So, and as soon as you accomplish one goal, remember always to treat yourself, like to celebrate it. It will give you the encouragement to go to the next, and then to the next, and then to the next, and make it a habit. Setting goals and achieving your goals, written goals, make it a habit. It has to be a good habit that you cannot slack on. So I'm going to quote a gentleman, an author that I really respect by the name of Og Mandino. I think a lot of you may have read some of his books. And a couple of the books that I really like are The Choice, The University of Success, and The Greatest Secrets of the World, the books that I really like. So he says, the victory of success is half won when one gains the habit of setting and achieving goals. Take it away, one of you.
Well, so I will. We all want to experience fulfillment in our life. And so, sadly, many people, die without their dreams fulfilled. And so, what we've been doing together is in a group is to make sure that doesn't happen to you. And as Gabby said, the first step is creating a vision, and the next step is turning that vision into specific goals, and to make sure that we live a fulfilled life. And we'll talk a little bit about how exactly to do that. But in looking looking back through the book, and that's what we're talking about. We're all students of the Success Principles and certified as trainers. And looking back through the book, they talk about a really cool study. And so this is one reason why you want to set goals for yourself. So there was a study of 267 participants, and there was a couple of people doing the study, but one of them was from Harvard. And they put them in a random group of 5 people. Group 1, they told them to think deeply about their goals. Now, I don't know what thinking deeply means, right? But I guess, just keep thinking about your goals, keeping at the top of your mind. That was group 1. Groups 2 through 5 were told to think about their goals and also to write them down. Group 3 was told to think about their goals, write them down, and then to formulate a list of action commitments. What steps am I going to take to achieve this goal? Group 4 was told to do all of those things and share it with a supportive friend. Now, do you want to share your goals with everybody? No. With supportive people in your life who want to uplift you and who loved you and want to support you? Yes, absolutely. And then the fifth group was told to think about their goals, to write them down, to formulate a list of action commitments, to
Yeah.
send it to a supportive friend, and provide a weekly progress report to somebody, a coach, an accountability partner,
Partner.
or mastermind group like we are here. And that's what we do every single week. That's why it's so important. Now, here's the thing. Group one that was told to just think deeply about their goals, they achieved 43% of the goals over a 4-week period. 43%. Group five achieved 76% of them achieved all of their goals. So that is a 33% increase.
Chris.
So look, folks, I mean, we're here because we want you to be successful. That's why we're here, because we do what we love, and we love helping to see other people get results. So we talked about knowing your vision. Just get clear, then break it down into your goals, and we're all going to talk about that, and then do these extra steps to help increase your odds of seeing results in your life. That's, you know, it can be difficult, but it's really simple if you just follow the simple principles of success. And then I'm sure you'll hear how, we'll share how we've all done it. So, all right, so that's one important reason. Who's up next?
It's interesting that it starts with thinking, right? We talked about you need to have a vision, and then you write it down. And in each of these steps, each of these components of the goal setting makes a difference, because it makes it more and more a part of you, part of your physiology. One of the things that I really have been like focusing on is, in addition to what the goal is, who do I have to be to achieve that goal?
Yes.
Right? Who do I need to become in order to achieve that goal? Because they're going to be these challenges and obstacles that come in the way. And the person who achieves whatever it is the goal is, right, is going to be someone who's going to overcome those obstacles. So it's not just, at least for me, it's not just the goal, but it is becoming the person that achieves that. And so I am part of, I don't know if I've talked about this with you guys before, but I'm part of another group. It's for speakers. And one of the exercises we do is called It's Like Me. And you're projecting yourself into the future, having achieved the goal, which is one of those things that we're doing anyway, right? The visualization is not the visualization of I want. The visualization is of having achieved it, so that you can say what you're saying. You can say your affirmations. And I know Cheryl will talk about this. She's huge on affirmations. Is saying your affirmations in the present tense, as if it's already been accomplished, right? And so in the It's Like Me Too, you are projecting yourself into the future, and you're sort of looking back going, well, it's like me to, let's say my goal is to do a TED Talk. I actually just was approved to be part of a master class to do a TED Talk later this year. It's one of my big goals. And so it's like me to practice, right? As I am moving towards making that happen. It's like me to practice my speech. It's like me to stand in the mirror. It's like me to write all the things that the person who accomplishes a TED Talk, all of the things that person does, right? It's like me to be that person, so that I can get there. So that's one of the tools that I use in order to not just achieve the goal, thinking about the goal, but who do I need to become in order to do that, so that I can move through the hard stuff. Because every goal, they say if the goal doesn't stretch you, right? If the goal doesn't, if you don't grow as part of it, your goals aren't big enough. And we've got to have goals of all kinds, small goals, large goals, easy ones, quick ones, fast ones, and because winning immediately helps to build momentum. So
Yes.
that's just one of the things that I do. And then I'm going to share another one a little later.
I love that. I actually wrote that down. So that was really
It's not
cool.
mine, but have at
Okay.
it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
Sharing. One of the things for me is to take a step back, right? Take a step back and kind of break down what are we actually saying. So we're talking about the power of goal setting.
Yeah.
And when you look at this, there are two types of people, right? There are people that operate in that hope and wait, right? This is something that I want to have happen, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I'm not going to do anything to project myself in a direction that will set me up to be able to meet the right people or to be able to obtain the right resources or obtain the right knowledge. I'm not going to put myself out there. I'm just going to wait and see what happens.
Mhm.
But yet, these are things that I want to have happen in my life. Oftentimes, if you are one of those people, then you're going to wonder, okay, well, why isn't anything happening? Why am I trudging through watching everybody else around me accomplishing things that, they're trying to accomplish, things that they want to have in their futures? Why is none of that happening for me? And then there's the other person that truly understands what the power aspect of goal setting means. Because there is power in goal setting, because I think one of you had mentioned it earlier, right? It's a mental thing, right? Your power comes from how do you believe it to be? Do you believe it can happen? Do you believe you are the person that can make it happen? Do you believe you deserve to have that happen for you? And so when you're thinking about goal setting, for me, it's one of those things where I'm a statistics person, right? I love to bring out statistics because I like to appeal to that logical mind, that wise mind that says, you know what, it makes sense. I can implement it. I can put activities that are sustainable that will allow me to continue to operate in this fashion. And so I know 3% of people write down their goals, right? 3% of the people write down their goals, but yet everybody has plans for their future. But here's the reality. Out of those 3% of the people that write down their goals, 65% of them will complete their goals solely because they've written them down. And then to what you said, Jody, when you add another person, when you add that accountability partner, it shoots up to 95%, because now somebody is going to ask you what happened, right? Somebody's going to ask you, well, have you done anything to move forward? Have you researched anything? Have you taken an additional class? Have you reached out to someone that is where you want to be? Have you tried to make contact? So, you can, there's one of two mindsets, right? You can remain in that mindset of powerless, where you are waiting and hoping and you're just talking about it, because we all have these people, right? You have these people that say, oh, I'm going to own a business. I'm going to get this big old mansion of a house. And then 6 years later, you talk to this person again. And what do they say? I'm going to open up my business. I'm going to have a 6-mansion house. And you're like,
I'm going to make $1 million.
Right, yeah, right. And you said that 6 years ago, but what have you done?
Right.
Try to make it happen, even if you didn't get there. And that's okay, right? You might not have gotten there, but what have you done to at least say that this is seriously what I want to consider? And so, for me, and you guys might have seen it, I might have placed pictures on Facebook where I'm one of those people that write their goals and put them around my computer on little tape. I got Post-it notes around my computer because I need a visual, right? I need a visual that lets me go, okay, don't get distracted by shiny objects today. This is your goal. This is where you want to focus on. And then, I just did a presentation where I was talking about Pareto's principle. And we remember that from way back in school, right? The 80-20 rule, 80% of your activities, 80% of your activities will get you 20%. 20% of your activities.
Yeah, the other way around.
Either way.
20% of your activities will get you 80% of your results.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking with my logical mind and I'm looking at this principle, and it is an old principle, and I love it because it's evergreen. And you have the ability to look at it in that regard, then you can go, wait a second. The things that I need to work on should be directed towards those goals that I have. Other than that, I'm focusing on shiny objects, or like I say, that squirrel that's in the middle of the street that's running around, from exactly, Jody, you got it, right? The squirrel effect.
Yeah.
And so that's what the goals do when you write them down. And that's the purpose of a goal. Other than that, it's a dream, right?
That's
It's
a
just
really great point.
for conversation, but a goal takes you
Yeah.
to a whole other level. If you're talking about leveling up, then
Yeah.
that's the goal that you set to allow yourself to get to that next level. So that's what I wanted to add, is that it's for me, it's about appealing to that logical mind that says this rationally makes sense. I can rationalize it, I can understand it, therefore I can implement it and sustain it. And then you move on to the next goal.
Exactly.
The next goal.
Yeah.
And
Can I, you want to go ahead?
absolutely go, Gabby. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just gonna add, like, I hear a lot of people complaining they don't have enough time. But if you're saying you don't have enough time to reach your goals, how many hours are you spending on TV? How many hours are you spending on phone calls that get you nowhere? So one of the things that I did since 2012 and still continues is that I have stopped picking up phones that don't serve me. And people eventually got the message and they stopped calling. Honestly.
Is that why you haven't answered my calls, Gabby?
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
I know, seriously. Like, do you really have to pick up the phone? Which one is better? Reaching, you have a dream. Do you want to fulfill your dream or waste your time with people who don't give a hoot of what you're doing? No, seriously. I'm not talking about you have to pick up the phone if your mom is calling. If your sister, brother, like your partner is calling, you have to pick up the phone. That is, I know, seriously. But that is not an excuse. That is absolutely not an excuse for me. You have to make time. And then if you're still working full time, but you have a dream to quit your job and do whatever you want to do on a personal level, run your own business, work hard on it. If you're still on a job, you can just do what I did when I started. I do the power of 5. I write 5 the most important things that I need to do tomorrow. So that when I don't have 20 written, as soon as I look at it, it stresses me out. I think, and what are the most important things that I need to finish by tomorrow before end of day? I call them the power of 5. So I do that. And you can start doing that. Forget TV for a little bit, especially the media that is full of crap. So work on it. Stay away from negative people. It doesn't matter. Some family members are also, they don't want to see you succeed. It's not only like colleagues or friends or neighbors that are family who don't understand what the success principles are. They don't care of how to get where you want to be. So stay away from negative people. Make time for what matters. That is your success. Make your dream come true. That's
one of the comments in the group is how many hours are you spending reaching other people's goals? And I think this goes along with what you're saying, Gabby. We've got to learn to say no.
No.
Right? You have got to learn to say no. And the only way you can really say no or know what to say no to goes back to having a clear vision for your life and what it is you want. And once you've done that and you understand what your values are and your priorities, then you can say, I'm saying no to everything else that doesn't move me where I'm trying to go, right? The people, the things, the activities, because you can't do everything now. And so you've got to prioritize what you're going to do, who you're going to spend your time with, how you're going to spend your limited resources of time, energy, and finances, right? So
Yeah.
the things that are limited, you've got to prioritize those. And if you do what you guys have mentioned, the power of five, having a clear vision, Cheryl's talking about having visuals around her, which I think are absolutely great, whether it's post-it notes or index cards or vision boards on your computer, on your phone, on the wall, wherever, whatever tools you need to use, strategies you need to use to help keep your mind focused on what you want, so that you will remember to say no to all the things that are not that.
Yeah.
And until
Exactly.
you do that, you're going to find yourself saying, I don't have time. I don't have time. Well, there are people there are some people out there who actually really don't have any time because they're doing things towards their goals. And so I would say, do a survey of your time. If you feel like you don't have time, take the time to do a survey of your time and track it and see how you're actually spending it. And if you are truly doing something, and everything is priority and it's moving you towards your goals and your family, and then you'll still have to do some reassessment. Or maybe that goal is just not time for that particular thing now. And I think we have to, give ourselves some space, some grace, and be okay with, I'm working on this. This has a higher priority than this other thing, and putting that on the sideline until you actually have time for it. Otherwise, you'll find yourself beating yourself up about not getting something done that you said you wanted to do. And who wants to look down the road 5 or 6 years and go, oh, I haven't done any of those things. And maybe it's fine that you didn't do those things, because the things you actually did were more important. But until you get clear on your vision, you're not going to know that.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
We've
Jody.
we've talked about why it's important to set goals, and we've talked about, you've all shared a few ways to accelerate that success, saying no, etc. And I'd like to go back to Cheryl's point about being logical, and I think it would be helpful for us to share with the folks how it actually works. And we teach the success principles, and in Jack's book he actually talks about this. He says that experts who studied the science of success know that our brain is a goal-seeking organism. And so whatever you give to your subconscious, it's going to go to work to achieve that for you. Now, for years, I wrote goals, and, I'm all into the law of attraction, raising my vibes and everything. And then I got into setting some goals, but I really didn't know why it worked, because you're actually giving a command to your subconscious mind. And so the way that we teach that you would want to write your goals is to write your goals how much by when. You need to be specific, because vague goals are going to produce vague results. If you give your subconscious mind vague, oh, one day I hope to live in on the ocean there, right? It's going to be vague. So that's why you want to be specific. How much by when? And a great example would be, instead of, oh, I want to lose weight by December 31st, you would write your goal as, I will weigh, fill in your goal, I will weigh 130 by December 31st at 5 p.m. And that's telling your subconscious mind, go to work to bring me that. And yes, you might achieve that. Maybe you don't. If you're more likely to, if you follow that study that we shared, if you write it down, if you share it, if you break it down into actionable steps, I'm going to exercise 2 days, whatever that is. And then you're held accountable, you're going to have more success. So for me, it was really fascinating when I realized just how important it is. You know, why do you tell your brain that? And then the same goes back to affirmations, which I'm sure we'll have another conversation sometime. You're just telling your subconscious mind, you're giving a command, go do this for me. And so that's why you want to be really specific in your goals. How everybody listening on this right now, jot that down. It's how much by when. How much by when.
Yeah.
So maybe ladies, you have specific examples or maybe helpful techniques that you use when you write your goals? Because I know I've got a couple, but who wants
Yeah.
to share?
I don't remember if it was Zig Ziglar or who said that a goal is a dream with a deadline.
Hmm.
You have to have a deadline for achieving your goal. Otherwise, you can just keep on dragging on. Yeah.
You know, I think the other thing that it brings to mind for me is oftentimes when we say yes, when we become that yesometer, when we're taking on everything that everybody brings to us, then you find that there's a point when you're no longer keeping your agreements, right? There's a point when you are no longer able to fulfill all of these commitments that you have said yes to. And when that happens, who's the first person that you let down? Yourself.
Yourself.
I'll help you before I focus on me. Now, you know, we're all about altruism, and that's great to, you know, care about your fellow mankind, right? And all of that. But in that regard, you also have to care about what is it that you want? What is going to allow you to fulfill not only your goals, but to feel good about being able to fulfill someone else's goal for them. And if you're not keeping these agreements, now, again, right, we go back to what makes sense. Can I or can I not? Do I have the bandwidth to even be able to accomplish this? And so, Jody, when you're talking about putting steps together, for me, I had to audit, right? I literally had to do an audit. How much time was I spending on Facebook? What did I promise people that I was going to do? Not only Facebook, social media, but what was I promising people that I was going to do? And then I had to look at my own list of things that I wanted to do for me. And you don't want to let people down, right? That's just our mental state, is that I don't want to let someone down. So if you don't want to do that, then ration out your time, ration out your resources, ration out your talent.
Yeah.
Because I think it was, I can't remember who was it that says we have no more time in the day than Helen Keller, Oprah Winfrey, and, you know, someone else. But yet we look at them and we want to emulate them, but you don't know how much time they truly invest in what it is that they're doing. And so we think, look, today is Monday. If I haven't made my 6 figures by Friday, then, you know, I must have done something wrong, or somebody misled me, or, you know, there's all those areas of blame and complaining.
Yeah.
When in actuality, that was probably a goal that wasn't realistic, to your point, Jody, right? It wasn't a realistic goal. So being realistic allows you to keep those agreements. It allows you to keep, you know, feeling good about what you're doing. It allows people to look at you as a credible, reliable individual. And being able to say no really gives you power, because people respect that. They respect when you say, you know what, I would love to help you, but I just don't have the bandwidth. Recently, I was asked to do an anthology, and they wanted to put into this whole academy, and it was a year-long academy. And I said, I would love to be a part of this project, but I don't have a year. I don't have a year to invest in this one project. And you know what she said? She said, Cheryl, I so respect you saying that, because you don't know how many people have said yes, and then 2 or 3 months in, I got to call them up. I got to ask them for this. I got to ask them for that.
Right.
They're always late delivering on things when they knew that they couldn't do it. So, you know, just keeping your agreements allows you to be well respected in wherever, you know, whatever your community is or whoever you are dealing with. And it allows you to be able to breathe, right? And go, okay, I feel good about what I've accomplished, because I'm looking at my list. And I do, when I make my goals and I complete them, I put the V next to them. I don't do checks. I put V for victory, because again, for me, it's a mental thing, right? So I put a V. And it allows you to look at your list of things or your activities for that day. And at the end of the day, you can celebrate.
Yeah.
You can celebrate because you're looking at your list going, I accomplished this stuff and I don't feel any weight on me. I don't feel like
Yes.
I've disappointed anyone. I haven't disappointed myself. And now I can move on to the next thing that gets me even closer.
Yes. Well said.
You know, so it's about that specificity, but it's also about understanding that there's an agreement, and that first agreement is with yourself.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want to get to be, 95, 100, rocking on your porch saying, I wish I would have,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Any
Oh,
last words?
the other thing, in addition to, we've talked a lot about sort of visualizing things. And so there are a number of ways, and I know everyone in our group does it a different way and some of the same ways, but I was thinking maybe we could share a little bit about that, right? So there are goal books, there are vision boards, there are dream boards. You could call it whatever you want to go, goal book, vision board, dream board, um, electronic, in physical, an actual physical, whether it's a book or a board or whatever. Because again, this is about having things around you that help you to remind yourself. And I hope Cheryl will talk about affirmations, and because I know she's really big on that. But the concept of reading your goals 3 times a day, or wherever you are, right? So things in the bathroom, on the bathroom mirror, waking up. We were talking before we started recording about placement of things so that you can see it right when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed at night, throughout the day. Whether you keep something in your wallet or on your phone, on your computer, on the walls, all of these just go to reinforce and help to keep your goals top of mind. And then the words, because words matter, right? In the way you say the things that you say, it matters. So you're going to see it, you're going to say it, right? And you're going to feel it. And those are the physiological things that we need to do to really drive it into our physiology, into our consciousness and our unconsciousness, right? So that, as Jody said, that piece of our brain is constantly figuring out what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Because you don't have to know the how at the beginning, right? You need to know the what, you need to know the why, but the how is not important, because the how will come if you stay focused on what it is you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let Cheryl talk about affirmations, and then I was going to share some, some ideas on how we can help people get started on writing some goals. So go ahead, Cheryl.
Oh, absolutely. Um, to Whitney's point, I am huge on affirmation. And Jody, you actually have a book on affirmations, on dynamic affirmations. And I have a guide on how to create positive affirmations for your life and business. Because, and I think you mentioned it earlier, Jody, right? It's like affirmations like woo woo, and all of this stuff that people think is just pie in the sky. And people, if you are a logical person, right? If you are a logical person where you need statistics, you need proof, you need, data, right? Then you look at affirmations and go, none of that exists. Well, I beg to differ, because it does.
Me too.
Historical data that shows that affirmations has allowed individuals to actually accomplish their goals, because to what Jody mentioned earlier, right? If it's in your subconscious and you are continuously thinking about it, you are seeing it, you are repeating it on a regular basis, then you start to believe it. because that's the power of words,
Yeah.
right? Words have an emotional weight. And when we say things like, I am going to buy me a new house, you might not know how you're going to get into a new house. You might be in an apartment. You might be living in your car. It doesn't matter where you are in this current state. What matters is, what do you see as your future state? And how are you conditioning yourself to believe that it can happen? And affirmations is one of those elements that has been used. And again, I say there's empirical data that says affirmations work, because it not only encourages and motivates, it operates that pattern in your brain, that current pattern in your brain that allows you to believe that it's already happened.
Yeah.
Right? Because your brain doesn't know the difference between an imagined event and an actual event. So what you tell it is what it believes. So when I say that I'm looking at this check that I wrote myself for $200,000, my mind is going, she got $200,000. That is what my mind is saying. Now, my bank account might not reflect that yet, but that's the power of the word yet. My bank account might not reflect that yet, but that's where I'm headed. And as long as I continue to believe that, then everything that I do is going to be based on getting me there. And to Whitney's point, I don't have the path other than knowing that I'm going to continue moving forward. And when I continue moving forward, opportunities show up, resources show up, people show up. And you look and you go, how did this happen? Well, because you affirmed your truth. And that's the whole point behind affirmations. And when you couple affirmations with visualizations and goal setting, then you are truly setting yourself up for a powerful experience that's going to allow you to be able to then go, wow, this really works. And then what's going to happen? Oh, I'm going to use this now for my finances, or I'm going to use this now for my relationships, or I'm going to use this now for my career, because we have different areas in our lives. And so you have affirmations for each of those areas because they all reflect a different piece of you. And so when you start seeing this work, then you start going, okay, this thing works. And so it's just so important that you have to first believe, because nothing happens. You can have all the statistics, you can have the techniques, you can have the strategies, but if you don't believe it to be so,
Yeah. Or
then
possible for you.
conflicting. You are doing contradictory things in your mind, because in the back of your mind, you're going, it's never going to happen, although you're speaking it. And so remember, your mind is going, okay, I'm confused here. So we're going to go with the most powerful one. And the most powerful one is probably that thought of it's never going to happen. And so your mind stops seeking and searching as that GPS, right? That goal producing system. It stops because you don't even believe it to be so. And oftentimes I have, my visions are huge, right? I'm like, I want a helicopter to fly out the sky. And then I have to get it settled down and go, okay, well, let's try, some confetti, but, I start there because I know that anything's possible. And so I start really huge and it never fails, man. It's like things start happening. I'm like, whoa, I am so out of my comfort zone. But that's okay. Because that's that area of growth. And that's that area where you start to truly believe, man, anything's happening. So on my vision board that's digital, I got a Lamborghini trike bike. Okay. Because I know that it's going to happen. But you got to be okay with dreaming big. I used to teach in schools when I worked at a college, and I would tell them, don't allow the size of your dreams to intimidate you. So you have to dream big. And if you have to, curtail it down as you're going, that's fine. But the dream should be so big that it scares the kajibas out of you. Because then, and kajibas is a true word, look it up in the dictionary. I just can't spell it.
How do you spell that?
But what you'll find though is that you will see yourself moving in areas where you are just blowing your mind.
Well, let's talk about that, because let's help folks they might not even know where to begin. So we've talked about why it's so important. We've talked about vision boards and ways to accelerate that success. And then we talked about how you have to break it down into specifics, how much by when.
Yeah.
All right, so that's great. So now what? Well, the four of us teach success principles. We teach short classes, we teach long programs, we teach all kinds of different programs. So
Yeah.
it depends on the length of the program, but some places some people can start in their life. Maybe you choose because what I just heard you saying, Cheryl, is working on a breakthrough goal. And that is when you dream really big and you
Big.
create this breakthrough goal that is just totally going to up level you and change you and help you grow. And that's like you all have written books. That's probably been a breakthrough goal for you, I would hope. Or maybe it's just been one of your little goals and you've got so much bigger stuff, right? But that's a breakthrough goal, something that is just going to change you, that is just going to totally up level your life.
Yes.
And other ways to create goals might just to look at 3 areas in your life. Happy, healthy, wealthy. Let me pick those 3 areas. This year, these next 3 months, what is something that will make me happy? Could be relationship, whatever. Happy, healthy, wealthy. So
Yeah.
start there. Now, here's something that I love to do is I really love this technique, and it's called the MTO. M is in Mary, T is in Tom, O is in Oscar, if y'all want to write that down. And it stands for minimum, target, and outrageous. So writing down a minimum goal, a target goal, and an outrageous goal. So just to give you a quick example, I invest in real estate. So a minimum goal for me maybe would be buying 1 investment property this year. All right. And guess what? If I bought that one, then I would feel satisfied and successful. Maybe my target this year is to really buy 2 properties. Boy, and if I achieved that this year, I would feel really, really satisfied and successful. Now, an outrageous goal, and this is really true, guys, my outrageous goal is to have my condo looking at this picture right behind me, and there's mine and my husband's beach chairs. That is my outrageous goal. And if I achieve that, which I'm on my way, it would be like, oh my gosh, I achieved my outrageous goal. So that's one way that I really enjoy creating my goals, coming up with a minimum, a target, and an outrageous goal. So we do that like in sales and different things like that. So that's one of my favorites. Do y'all have a favorite technique for setting your goals?
Yeah, the thing is, what I find also by setting all these big goals, like, and who you become in the process, because certain things you never knew about, learning, taking these classes, attending these workshops, networking with people you would have never even thought you would network with. Look how we met, the 4 of us. It's the person you become, because you grow as a person, because, okay, you say, how do I do that? I've never done this before. Then either you go take a course, take a class, you learn it, or ask someone that you trust to help you with that. So it's the person that you become. You grow as a human being, as a person, by setting all these big goals. So that's what I find also very satisfying.
Yeah, and Gabby, because it's who you become, because guess what? You can lose everything in an instant.
Yes.
The relationship could go sour. You could go bankrupt. All that stuff that you built could you could lose it all, but it's who you become in the process.
Yes.
Because all the new skills and all of the new mindset and everything, well, now you've gained that, you can do it all again, right?
Yes, because you can do it all over again, because money you can lose money, but you can make it. But the knowledge, the experience that you gain, the knowledge that you gain in the process, nobody can take it away from you. So that is like my wisdom on this.
So Jody, the way I go about it is, and I have some areas where there's the MTO. But generally for me, it starts with just sort of sitting and thinking about what it is I want, right? And I am someone who I make a lot of time for silence and quiet, and ideas come to me and I jot them down. And I don't necessarily start running after every idea that comes to me. And Cheryl brought this up earlier. It's like that, sometimes there's so many things I can't do everything, right? And so I try to batch things sometimes. And so look for goals that are related, and how, if I'm taking certain steps, sort of move me towards a bigger thing, and how I can. So I look at it both ways. What are some things that I am wanting to do that move me towards a big goal? Or if I've got a really big goal, what are the steps that I need to break it down into in order to get there? And so in my silence, I'm asking for the resources. I'm asking for, the input on the what do I need to do to go about this? Who do I need to become to make this happen? Who do I need to know, the things that may become obstacles? How can I identify the obstacles and try to work and come up with a plan that will help me deal with them, so that I don't lose a lot of momentum in the process. Now, I can't think of everything, and I don't think of everything, and things do come up. Life happens. But in my process is to try to think of those things in advance and have a plan for them if they come up. And so for me, it really is about just taking the time and thinking it through. And then, so I write down not just the goal, but the steps, the things that I need to do along the way, what the milestones are going to be, right? You set a date for the goal. It's been mentioned a couple of times with how much or what and by when. And so making sure that I've got that date, but that means that I have to do things in between here and there, right? If I'm going to get from where I am to where I want to be, I've got to do some things that help to get me there. And so that helps to keep me on track. And I use my tools, my planner, my schedule, and my cell phone. I have a desk count. I probably have too many tools. But it helps me. And we're losing you to the sunlight, Cheryl, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna message her. Yes. And then my thing is, like, one thing I have learned is that don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I was one of those people. I'm always like, I hesitate like a million times before I ask for help. But there, you should not be afraid to ask for help. What is the worst that can happen? If somebody says no, you haven't lost anything. You are where you were. So ask for help. There are so many great people around. Hire a coach. We all did. We all have coaches. God only knows how much money we've spent on studying personal development and attending all these seminars. And
every dollar a really good investment.
Exactly. So every dime is a good investment, because I personally wasn't this person before. Like, if you see me 20 years ago, you would be shocked to see me now. So personal growth, leadership, and invest in training, invest in learning, but be careful who you invest it with at the same time, because these days, especially, there are so many people who could promise you the moon, but you don't get anything except you lose your money. I know, eh? Yeah, but don't be afraid to hire a coach. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you get stuck.
Oh, I wanted to mention that because we are a mastermind group, and it is, I think, extremely important. We've talked about this concept of accountability, but it is extremely important to have people or a person in your life that will help to hold you accountable, that will be someone who will that you can share, right? And Jody mentioned this early on. Every goal you have, every dream you have, you should not share with everyone, right? There are just going to be some people who they may not even say anything, but the vibe, the energy that comes, their vibrational energy can be something that can throw you off, and you may not even know what it is. So you need to be really careful about who you tell your dreams to, who you share your goals with, and you need to be careful about who you take along with you on the journey. And
Yeah.
having someone, whether it's a coach or a mastermind group, and I cannot speak highly enough about mastermind groups, and whether it's one that you create or it's one that you join, whether you pay for it or not, the makeup of that group is extremely important. And one of the things that we do as a group, we meet weekly, and we are very supportive and encouraging of each other. And we've got diverse goals and things that we're working towards. And we're asking each other for help. And to Gabby's point, you've got to be okay with asking people for help.
Yeah.
You don't have all the answers. You're never going to have all the answers. There are always going to be people who are smarter than you, but the power of the mastermind, whether people are smarter than you or not, just the combined intelligence of the mastermind, right? This coming together is the power that makes that work. So you can think you're the smartest person in the room. If that works for you, fine. I
You don't
think
want to be the smartest person in the room, right?
you don't need, but the point is you don't need to be,
Yeah.
right? In order
Right.
to achieve what you want, to have your accomplishments, you don't have to be that. And you need to be okay with that, and be okay with letting people know what you need, not because there's something wrong with you, not because you need to be fixed, not because you're stupid or any of that, but because there's an energy that will help you to move forward with what you're trying to do if you will open yourself up to that.
Yeah.
And if
Whitney,
people don't know what you're doing and what you want, they can't help you with, right? Your resources and time and intellectual capacity and all that is limited to what it is. It is what it is. Someone else brings something that you don't have, that opens you up to opportunities, to seeing things in ways you wouldn't see on your own. And that's the other part that's just, I think, really powerful about having an accountability partner, a coach, or a mastermind group.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any comments in the group, Whitney?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of comments. Yeah,
Oh,
Whitney, you want to go through them, Han?
Let's give them a shout out, and thanks for watching us. Thanks for joining us. This is the reason we do this.
Oh, so we have, yes, we've got a number of comments. We mentioned some earlier, but we've got, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Tammy, she's like laughing. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room, and combined intelligence. I didn't come up with that. I think that's Napoleon Hill.
We'll give it to you though.
Oh, thank you. And then Godiver Cooper, thank you for being here. We do appreciate that. And Tammy, I mentioned Tammy, and for some reason, I'm only getting 4 comments. It says there are like way more than that.
Yeah,
So
there is
someone else has
Samantha.
got
Yeah,
more access.
I can see them. So Samantha Glass, thank you for joining. Love you, Han. Godivar, thank you for showing up. Love you. Who else is there? Kelly, love you. Thank you for joining. Thank you everybody for your comments. And Lori Miracle, Lori Moore. Hi, thank you for joining. Tammy Williams, she's always like our #1 fan. And she's one of my accountability partners, by the way. Tammy, you need to know her, by the way, ladies. She's amazing. All of them are amazing. These are like in my Facebook group. Thank you so much. And you're only able to see only 4?
Yeah, you know what? I want to address this comment that Tammy says. Masterminds only work if the people in the group are willing to hear what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And I think that is such a good point. And whether that's from a mastermind, a coach, or your accountability partner, being open to hearing another perspective, right, is really important. Being open to the whole point is that you're looking to grow. And part of growth is getting uncomfortable with and being willing to be uncomfortable, right? And so hearing something that you need to hear rather than just the things that you want to hear are vitally important for you to be able to grow into the person that you need to become to achieve what it is you're trying to achieve. So I think that was just a really good point. You've got to be willing to hear the hard stuff, right? And to accept it with at least take the time to ponder it, to think about it, right? To go away, not get defensive, and to go away and say, you know what, I'm gonna spend some time with this. I'm gonna sit with this and get some clarity about it, because if you don't, it could hinder your growth. Now, you may spend some time thinking about it and decide, you know, that person's full of hooey. But you've got to at least open yourself for the possibility.
You know, and Whitney, to that point, and thank you for bringing that point. To that point, though, it's also if you have the same goals year after year after year after year, you might need to start looking at some of that, go deep within and wonder, why does this keep showing up, right? What am I blocking? What are my beliefs about that? Right? Because maybe your belief system. So, for sure. So that when she said that, that's what made me think, and accountability might really be able to help you with that. Right? Had you thought about it this way? Had you?
Yeah, 2 points they made. Sorry, Godivar, she says, be careful who you share these goals and dreams to. Dream blockers are real. Tell me about it. And then Tammy says, usually the closest to us are not for us. Mastermind groups are vital to success, she says. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I know. Yeah.
Can't believe we spent an hour on this already. Time flies.
Right, let's hear your check stories. I want to hear about your checks.
Okay, I've got it. So I received a check in the mail.
Okay.
It was for $7. Like, you guys could have kept that check. But after getting it, one of the things I actually thought about this, and you, Jody, which is right, abundance comes in all forms, at all times, in all ways, right? So after having a moment, it's like, $7 really? It's like, no, I accept every check. Bring them all. If 7 billion people on the planet sent me a check for $7, I would not be complaining. So I can't get to 7 billion until I get to 1. So here it is. But I took it, I cashed it electronically, so I didn't have to give up the check. And then I changed it into a check for $7 million. Because I was like, you know, why not? And I got the check a couple of months ago, back in February, and then it was sitting around, and a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to change this to $7 million. And I have it sitting on my desk, so I see it every single day in front of a framed sign that says thankful. And so it just reminds me to be thankful. And I am thankful. I am so happy and grateful
Grateful.
to receive $7 million, my $7 million check. So in terms of an affirmation, I affirm that frequently, and I keep my eye on my $7 million prize.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cheryl, you had one too, didn't you? You've got a
Yeah,
check.
did that early on. Yes, my check is for 200,000. So it sits over my bed, and it's in a picture frame that I see. Gabby has just informed me that I need to move it so I can see it in front of me. But when I wake up in the morning, I turn and look at it. And then when I go to bed, I actually look at it. And for me, it is, it's an opportunity for me to get to milestones, right? So I get to milestones. So when I get to that 200,000, then I get to the next level and then to the next level. And it keeps me moving forward. Because for me, you know, I'm all about simple steps, right? Simple steps for daily success and continuous improvement. And so for individuals that are not goal setters, individuals that are not those individuals that say, okay, let me write down a goal, because goal setting can be scary. Right? It can be a scary thing because you're taking yourself into a place that you might not have been before. And so it can be scary because there's always those fears of, what if it doesn't happen? What if I tell somebody and it doesn't happen? You know, what if I tell myself and it doesn't happen? Then you start feeling really bad about it. So, you know, I suggest for people that are not goal setters is to write down, what would your perfect day look like? If you had an opportunity to do anything that you possibly wanted to do, what would that look like? And I get that from, I used to work for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And one of the things that we would ask the kids would be, what is it that your perfect day looks like? Because when you tell a kid you can have anything in the world, I don't know what to wish for, because that's so big, right? It's like, what do you mean anything? And so, you know, you have to get it into the mindset that people can digest it. So what does your perfect day look like? And in that perfect day, you will find your goals. You will find those things that you want to accomplish in order to get to that perfect day. So you are literally telling yourself a story. And again, that allows you to go into your subconscious with this story that you've written about what you want in your life. And so, you know, it's just really important that meet ourselves where we are so that we can get to that next level. And so that's why it's important to go, you know what, people that are watching this might go, oh my gosh, now I got to set goals. Oh my gosh, right? So don't look at it like that. Tell yourself a story. What is your story? And then as you go along, you can always rewrite your narrative, right? You can always rewrite it, but you starting to look at things that you want to happen. And then in that, you circle, right? Like, what are your goals? Oh my gosh, in my story, I wrote that I want to have a new car, circle new car. In my story, I wrote that I want to take a vacation, circle vacation. That's where you extract your goals from. And then you start putting on paper and start looking at the activities or the 5 things that you do every day that allows you to get there. So what is it that you can do that is simple? And some people are just gung ho. They're like, oh, I write goals every year. Awesome, fantastic, right? Continue doing so, and then write bigger goals. But there are some people that just don't, that I don't say don't understand the power, don't believe in the power of goal setting, because it's a belief. You have to believe in the power of success principles. I think that's the premise of Jack's book, is that you have to believe, because nothing, there's like what, 64, 67 principles. None of them matter if you don't believe it can happen.
You know, and
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to interject, and then I think that we've got to wind down here. I was just going to interject, you know, so we have to believe it can happen, but believe that it's possible, right? Because then you can just simply ask, you know, has anybody on the planet done that? Well, yeah. right? And so it's possible. And one way to help your belief system, and this is probably for another call for sure, is go back and look at your successes in your life. What have you already accomplished? And then you know what you can accomplish. So I think we have to wrap it up now, ladies, don't we? I know
Yeah.
we could be here all night.
Yeah, and
Take us
then
home.
just to add to what Cheryl was talking about, like I know it can be scary, goal setting can be scary for people who are doing it for the first time, but it's only scary the first time. Once you take action on that very first step, you will just be so excited that you will expand beyond your imagination. So write down your goals and
Yeah.
don't be afraid. Just take it one step at a time. Like my mom used to say, don't try to take 5 steps because you will fall down and break. Because I used to tell her, I want this, I want that, I'll do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa. She goes like, take it one step at a time, because if you try to take 5 at once, you will fall down and break. Take it easy, young lady. That was what she used to say to me. So now I know what she was talking about. At the time I didn't, but yeah, just take it one small step at a time.
Cheryl, can you pass him over?
I know.
Can you pass him around so we can hug him?
So I just, as we wrap up, I want to invite you all to join us next month. We are here every month, the 4th Monday of the month. And so next month it is May 24th. And we will be talking about Jody's favorite topic, the law of
Attraction. Yay.
And if you are following along with us in the book, it is principle number 6, which is my favorite number. And so we'll combine that, my favorite number, with Jody's favorite topic, and we're going to have an awesome conversation about how to use the law of attraction to help you with your movement towards success. So just wanted to make sure you got that invitation. We will make sure it's posted in the group. And if you've got anything that you want to ask us or share with us, we invite you to participate in the conversations in the post, or make your own post if you've got something that you want to ask or something that you want to share.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. That was
Thank
a nice
you for spending time with
conversation.
us.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody. Take care.
I think they should put goals in the chat.